Listen here, are you on a budget and for self-publishing it's a bit tight and so you're not sure if you can actually do it? Well, stick around because we are going to go exactly through how exactly to save money on your next book. This is Chris Baird from selfpublishingmadeeasynow.com, where self-publishing doesn't have to be so hard. So the thing is, there are a number of ways of going about doing this when we're trying to save money as a self-publisher, as an author. You're just getting started with self-publishing, or maybe you've been doing it a while, but you have a limited budget that you're working with. And one of the options, of course, is looking at the cheapest self-publishing companies for new authors. And which ones should you go with? Well, my number one recommendation is always going to be Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing, or KDP. And the reason I recommend going this route is because, one, it's absolutely free. You don't need to invest any money to sell your books on the platform. As long as the books are formatted correctly and they have guidelines and things like that. I teach my clients as well how to go through the formatting process and getting covers and these things that you're going to need for your book. You're able to put them onto Amazon KDP without paying anything. In addition, you have a whole series of customers who have already logged into Amazon KDP. They have their credit cards attached to their KDP accounts and they're eager to buy. With a single click, they can purchase your book, which makes it almost the easiest place you can imagine for someone on the internet to quickly make a purchase of a book they'd like to get. And they're on there looking to buy. This combination makes Amazon KDP one of the absolute best places to get your money's worth and to self-publish on a budget. The second one is Apple Books. The reason Apple Books is such a positive one is because of the users of Apple devices. These tend to be users who have more money than the users of the Android, and therefore when they're going into the Apple Books area, they're going to see your book showing up, and they have, again, the same thing with their money, their account attached. It's not as simple as just the click the buy now button, but they could possibly, they have to type in their Apple ID in order to make the purchase. But it's a very easy, low friction transaction, and the users themselves usually have more money to go about purchasing your books, so this is definitely a platform you should consider. The third one we're going to look at, it is Barnes & Noble Press. Now, I know a lot of people thought Barnes & Nobles had been completely destroyed and wiped out by Amazon, but the fact is they are in fact still around and sales are being made on their platform. Just like Apple and Amazon, you're not going to pay either to put your books onto Barnes & Noble Press. They have a lot of respect, and there's a broad reach of the people who do use the platform. Now, it isn't exactly as easy and the audience size isn't as large as Amazon, but it's definitely something worth considering. Moving on to number 4, Kobo Writing Life. Kobo Writing Life has been a player in the field for a really long time, and there's a whole lot of things I like about it. They even have their own reader. Just like Amazon has the Kindle reader, Kobo has their readers as well, digital readers that make it possible. And here in Norway, you find them even more common in the stores than even the Kindle devices. So if you're going to get your books onto Kobo, this is a great way to get it on there. You're also going to be reaching an audience that you might not reach on some of these other individual platforms. I should say that though some of these platforms distribute to multiple sites and some not so much. Let's talk about some that go a little bit broader. The next one's going to be StreetLib, and it has a global network of retailers and libraries that definitely should be considered. And since it has that reach, you notice this is the first one I mentioned, the libraries, on the ability to get your books into libraries, which can be really powerful in terms of helping you find new readers, especially if you're following my advice on running email lists, so that we're bringing these people into your sphere. They like what you're writing, they get on your email list, and then you're able to tell them about your other books. You're able to get help with reviews and all of this sort of stuff. So StreetLib is definitely worth considering. The next is Zenzi. That's a German company, sort of like Amazon, and they will also get you into libraries. They also will get you onto Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Apple Books, which we already mentioned. So in one sense, some of these sites can be really powerful. So Zinzi is a great one in terms of reaching multiple sites without having to actually go to those individual sites one by one. Then the next is number 7, Publish Drive. Publish Drive, they used to be a lot better of a deal. Then they started charging a fee based upon if you want to put your books on there. But then they give you a lot more of the royalties for the lifetimes of the book. So it depends upon how many sales you're making. I would recommend to test them out, at least in terms of seeing with a few of your best-selling books, and see what happens when you decide to go wide and not just sell your ebooks, for example, on Amazon KDP. But with Publish Drive, this is also one that's really tempted me. They get your books into retailers, libraries, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble's, Apple Books, and Kobo. Now notice, we just said a lot of the ones we had already mentioned, that they're able to get your books onto a lot of these other platforms. That many of them, they're interested in getting sales, and they charge a fee for people to put books onto their platform. So they will take a portion of the fee. So it's almost as if it's funny, like sometimes when you're dealing with Amazon, they don't care which way it goes. They're going to make money whether you buy it through their platform directly, or these other platforms will sell their books through Amazon, and then Amazon still gets paid for the sale. So in the end, it gets back to Amazon, but it is worth testing and trying out a number of these ones when we are trying to find which ones are the cheapest companies. But the next thing we're going to look at is where can you cut costs in self-publishing. This is so important for new authors looking to save costs when you're working off of a budget. And the first thing you can cut cost is with proofreading. One of the ways we can cut costs is you can swap with other authors. Other authors in your same genre are always willing to take a look at your book, maybe in exchange for you reviewing their book as well as you're proofreading it to see if there are issues. If you're doing the email marketing strategies I talk about, then you're definitely going to be able to use your readers themselves, your subscribers to your email list, as candidates to proofread your book and to let you know what changes can be made. This can all be done absolutely free. You don't have to pay for all of the additional costs of these things. If you don't have the money to pay for massive proofreading and editing and these things, you can use digital tools to do it, but you can also just have proofreaders who will do it for free in exchange if you proofread their books. The second way you can cut costs is through formatting. And this is something I teach in my Formatting Made Easy course, where I show you at a very reasonable price one time how to go through the whole process, and then you can use the tools and the skills that you've learned to do all of the books yourself in the future. You don't have to pay people, but if you insist on it, you can go on Fiverr and find someone who can do the formatting, but you're going to need to do the formatting again and again. There is no book that I put out and I just leave it alone. All of the books need to be formatted. When I come out with a new book, I need to make sure I'm advertising it in my older books. When I find new strategies regarding different aspects of the books that I'm publishing, I also need to make sure that I'm implementing those strategies in my old books, which means going back and formatting them again. So this is something you're definitely going to need to consider. Number 3, your binding, your book bindings. This is something that so many authors overlook. It's the fact that you can choose the type of bindings, and some cost a lot more than others. If we are going online and doing the print on demand, then the advantage, of course, is that you don't have to print in advance. The disadvantage, it's that if you choose the wrong binding because you really like this fancy binding, you can find it pushing your price up so high that your ideal readers will be scared away by the pricing of your books. And you really do not want to do that when it comes to getting your books out onto the market and trying to find a market who wants to get, for example, your hardback or your paperback books, if you're choosing bindings that are going to be pricey. So be careful which choices you make and look at the different price options that you think that your target readers are actually going to be willing to pay. Number 4, going digital. And this is such an important one. We have to remember that with self-publishing, everything is digital. We're able to take all of our contents, the contents of the book, the cover of the book, all of our metadata, it's all just ones and zeros and digital, meaning we don't have like a garage filled with these books that are manually being printed out. We let the big companies take care of that work for us so we can focus on there's three things, the usual that I comment on when you're going on all of this, where you're spending a third of your time writing, a third of your time or producing new products and offers, a third of your time on marketing your existing offers, and a third of your time learning like you're doing right now. And so when you're doing that, you're able to devote your time properly. But since everything's digital, we don't have to deal with things like all the logistics and supply. We're not stuck with a bunch of books in our garage to sell. Rather, they're on these platforms, and that saves us a lot of money when we are doing it with self-publishing. Number 5, that is marketing. Now, why exactly is marketing so powerful? Well, one of the things is that if you're doing self-publishing, you can save a lot of money on marketing by doing content marketing. And that can be done by creating YouTube videos, podcasts, blogs, and an email list as well. Well, email list is its own marketing, but at least those main three, video, audio, and written word in your blog, you can actually produce them straight down the line, where you produce a video and you can have the audio taken out to a podcast, and you can have a transcription made automatically by YouTube, putting it into a text that you can use in a blog and your email for that matter, right? And so the price can be absolutely free. By doing content marketing, you're able to get past a lot of the expenses. You're exchanging your time to create this content and not having to spend money. And if you're on a tight budget, this is a fantastic way to save money. This is also something I teach in my Content Marketing Made Easy course, going through those exact steps of how do we do it for free or nearly free. If you do everything for free, you will find that you lose some money. But training and education is one of those key areas where it's definitely worth spending money trying to get these things under control, as I'm able to sit down with my clients one-on-one or in a group format and go through exactly the different ways about that you can hold yourself to a given budget while at the same time managing to get your book to sell, producing more money, and which makes it a lot easier to do the entire process. So in conclusion, you can see that there are a lot of different solutions as a new author when you're trying to go about it, and how you can save money when going on a limited or a tight budget. That is something that definitely is worth considering, some of the options, and I'd like to know below in the comments which options work best for you, and is there anything you're trying that you haven't tried that I did not mention in this video. And also check above me here for more video answers to your self-publishing questions. Thanks.